Hey guys, welcome to today's webinar, midday analysis webinar actually. Today is Wednesday the 8th of November 2017 and the time is 11:04 here in the UK. You're looking at an AUDJPY daily chart. In today's analysis we're going to be looking for continuation and reversal setups on all these pairs listed here. Now, one thing I want to say just before we jump into the analysis is that I'm going to be flicking through these pretty fast. I'm looking for a very specific type of setup or two specific types of setups. So if I don't see it, I just skip to the next chart or the next pair. I don't want to waste too much time looking at a pair that isn't giving me a setup right now, because I do this analysis several times per day for myself. It's not posted to YouTube several times per day, but I do it several times per day for myself. If there's nothing on AUD New Zealand, for example, I can just skip it and come back to it in a few hours. So if you see me skipping through pairs pretty quickly, that's just because there's no setup there that I can identify. Anyway, let's jump into the analysis. All right, we're going to start with AUDJPY. Looks like this is already triggered on the 8 hour. Is anyone long on AUDJPY right now on the 8 hour? Looks like there's a bullish setup here, but it's already triggered. Nice strong bearish preceding trend, indecision forming on support, and it's heading up quite strongly right now. I mean, it's probably not a setup that I'd want to take, but the reason I wouldn't want to take it is because it's all messy to the left here. So price is probably going to struggle to get through this area, and the risk to reward ratio is most likely not that good. Yeah, even with a perfect entry, it's not a great risk to reward ratio in this kind of messy area. But it is a pretty good risk to reward ratio up to the next resistance area. But look, it looks like no one's entered it because no one's saying anything. So I think we can just skip straight past this one and go on to AUD New Zealand. What's going on with AUD New Zealand? Here we have another setup, but this one looks slightly better. The AUDJPY one, it just doesn't look as good because it looks like AUDJPY could be in the beginnings of a downtrend, of a bearish trend. So this would be a counter trend trade with a lot of messiness in between. It just doesn't look that good. But AUD New Zealand, this looks to be with the trend. So you could just, I'm just doing it by eye, but it looks like you could draw, a pretty straightforward trend line here, based on those two recent points. So it's adhering to the kind of bullish trend. It's forming solidly on the support area. This actually doesn't look like a bad setup. Actually looks like a decent setup. Hasn't triggered yet either. Continuation trades, they obviously give us a better risk to reward ratio and a better chance of success than reversal trades. There's nothing wrong with taking reversal trades. Reversal trades are still the main type of trade I take, and they are very profitable if you do them right. But continuation trades just generally have a better chance of success. So this one actually looks pretty decent. I mean, it has a good risk to reward ratio, hasn't triggered yet. Possibly even extend the stop loss, just give it a little bit more breathing room while still maintaining a good risk to reward ratio. There is some messiness to the left here, but that was a while ago now. Last time it passed through here, it wasn't that bad. But it's still very likely going to struggle. If it starts pushing up, it's still very likely going to struggle in this area, but it's not that bad. So I'd be willing to enter this trade. So I'm going to move this to the top of the list, keep a close eye on it. Obviously, I'm not entering right now, but I'm going to do some further risk analysis, decide if it's worth entering, and we'll discuss that further on the forum. But so far, it looks pretty decent. Somewhat risky with the messiness to the left here, but other than that, yeah, it looks pretty decent. So let's check out AUD. We'll do a further wrap up on AUD New Zealand in a bit after I get through all the pairs. All right, let's look at AUDUSD. AUDUSD is just ranging on the support area. There's nothing really much that we can do here. I mean, there is, depending on your trading style or your trading strategy. Some people really look for these breakout areas and then they try to trade breaks from them, from these tight ranges rather, and they try to take breakouts of these tight ranges. But this is not really something that I trade, so we're going to skip to CAD-JPY. CAD-JPY is currently forming in between support resistance, so there's nothing that I would want to trade there. EURJPY, I entered a long on EURJPY yesterday. It didn't quite hit target. It actually pulled back all the way down to here. My target was up here at the 1.5 risk-reward ratio. I adjusted my support resistance areas yesterday, and I took that trade. Wasn't the safest of trades. It was a somewhat risky trade, and yeah, I'm considering about exiting now because it's pretty much at break even. I'm considering just getting out of this one with a very minimal loss. But if it climbs back up a little bit, I might exit with just a few pips profit. Not that that matters that much, but hey, it's better than exiting with a few pips loss, isn't it? Or even just a break even would be better. But yeah, it came very close to its target, but it just didn't quite hit it. It's no huge surprise. It was a risky trade going in, but you know, sometimes you take risky trades. So yeah, I'm probably going to try and exit this one out pretty soon. Try to get out at around break even. EURJPY, what's going on with EURJPY? It's just heading back up, but it's not quite at the support area, so there's nothing I'd want to trade there. EURJPY, it's stalling on top of this support area, but the preceding trend is very short and very messy. I mean, we may as well keep an eye on it, but I don't think I'm actually going to do anything with that. Euro New Zealand is in between support resistance, so nothing there. Euro USD, yeah, it's just above support, so there's nothing that I would want to trade there. GBPAUD could be forming a continuation here. Let's keep a close eye on it. So I'd want to look for a potential long here, but most likely it's not going to happen. This is just, you know, it looks like it might turn into a continuation. It's worth keeping an eye on, but it's unlikely that it actually will. GBPAUD, nope, nothing. GBPJPY is just kind of on top of the support area. You managed to get out of EURAUD, Doz. Sorry, Doz is a nickname, I should say George. Oh, you got out just at 1.5. That's pretty lucky. GBP New Zealand, nothing. GBP USD. Who's still long on GBP USD, by the way? This trade must be annoying you. Anyone still long? No? Alright, cool. So it looks like people... Oh, there we go. Digitalk is still long. I was wondering if you were still long because you were yesterday. All right, well, 66%, that's pretty good. Your stop loss is below the 12-hour candle. All right, cool. Oh, you're still in it, Sanjit? How's it going for you? Have you closed out anything, or are you just like still holding? All right, cool. But there's nothing we can do there. I mean, the position's already open, so. Sorry, I just skipped straight past New Zealand JPY, but there's nothing happening there, obviously. New Zealand USD, just heading up from the support area. USD CAD, just in between support resistance. USD CHF, nothing much going on there. USD JPY, nothing much. Yeah, and gold and silver, nothing much. Okay. So it's a bit of a boring day today, but that's fine. We do have AUD New Zealand. That's looking pretty decent. Not my favorite pair. It's actually not even a pair that I would often trade, but it's got a decent setup, so I'm going to keep a close eye on it. Might enter this one. GBPAUD for a continuation possibly. So basically, yeah, I want to see a continuation of this bullish trend from the support area. So a long continuation trade. But, you know, the way it's setting up, it's really unlikely. The problem with this setup is that we haven't had enough of a move up. With my continuations, I want to see that this push up before it comes back down to be higher, to be kind of like up here. That way it gives buyers enough room to move and hit my target. In this case, buyers don't really have that much room to move. They can only pretty much move up to here before it potentially starts to stall out. So, because this is basically a barrier. When you look at a chart, this is a barrier. That's a barrier. Previous highs are barriers. So the next barrier for this is here instead of all the way up here, which would be a lot better for us if we wanted to buy. So, you know, I'm going to keep an eye on it. I might be tempted to trade it depending on how the setup plays out, but it's highly unlikely. Yeah, we had EURJPY for a potential bullish long. Of course, it's a bullish long. All bullish trades are long. For a potential long trade. With this one, it's just a bit messy. But it's worth keeping an eye on. I mean, we might get a good setup here. On the 12-hour, this indecision candle looks pretty solid. Yeah, let's keep an eye on it, guys. It's definitely worth keeping an eye on. And other than that, it's a pretty dull day, nothing much. That doesn't mean there won't be anything forming later on today. There might very well be more setups forming. But as of right now, we've only got these few setups. So let's keep a close eye on them and just see how they play out. Are there any questions, guys? Thanks for watching the analysis. I hope it was useful. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button below. Also, for instant notifications when I post analysis or other cool videos, subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe button below. Once the setups I share in this analysis trigger, I post live updates as I manage the trade, such as my entry, exit, stop, and when to get out of the trade. For these updates, add me on Facebook or Twitter by clicking the buttons below. I'll see you in the next video.